Hey, everybody, and welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is your Lord of Punishment, Scribe Light. Say hello.
Hello.
Your Lord of Pennies is off playing with his family tonight. They're celebrating his birthday a day late at his mom's house, so he won't be here tonight. It's going to be just me and Scribe, the Scribe and Money Show. We haven't done one of these in a long time. I am your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope everybody is well out there. Before we get started, thank you, Point Curation. Let's see if I can still pull up this super chat here. He said, hope you're having a good birthday, Monkey. I am. Tomorrow is actually my birthday, but we celebrated with the family today. Little Butt was over, and we just had a great time. And I had way too much cake because that's what I do on my birthday. How are you doing, Scribe?
I'm doing well because I got to listen to a grand monkey fool around there for a little bit before the stream started.
She is so full of it. Oh, my God. What you guys missed right before the stream is she came running into what is now my office and told me to squeeze her so mommy couldn't take her home. And my daughter came in here to get her, and she just my daughter stood like right next to me. I'm like, I can't hand you this child. I can't. You'll have to take her from me because I'm supposed to be protecting her.
And then she said, happy birthday, Scribe.
Yes, she did. Oh, guys, thank you so much for all the birthday wishes. Yeah, like I said, I've had a great day so far.
Well, you know what this means, though.
What's that? There's
only one person here to sing to you.
That's not true, because I already told my son I was going to be singing to myself tonight.
That's really weird.
Have you met me?
In what sense?
Do you think that as much self-love as I have, that I am above singing happy birthday to myself?
Well, I don't think you're above it, but I think it kind of takes away the power of my serenading you.
Well, if you want to just do it yourself.
No. You want some vocal masturbation for you? Go right ahead. I'll join in.
Vocal masturbation, isn't that what we do every night?
Yeah, well, I'll give you a reach around.
Yeah, actually, my birthday is in 6 hours and 35 minutes.
Okay.
That is the official time of my birth. It was 12:37 after midnight on the West Coast. So it's coming up. I'm actually excited for this year because nobody cares about 43. So to me, it means something. The less people care about it, the more I do. To me, it's kind of like the rainforest back in the 80s. Nobody cared until somebody made it a big thing.
Hey, I loved Fern Gully.
That movie was so stupid.
Oh, I loved it again when I saw it, and it was called Avatar.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, shall we get the singing out of the way now, or do you want to save it for later?
No, we can do that. We can do it right now. Monkey, are you out there? Are you listening? This one's for you. And a 1 and a 2.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ranting Monkey.
Happy birthday
to
me. That kind of sounded like a gun cocking. I realized it was your Dr. Pepper.
It's Dr. Pepper, but I might have been loading a gun. You can flip a coin and choose which one you think it is.
And Ranting Monkey, I hope you're having a great day. And I really am. I am.
Do you have a mirror set up at your station so you can just like wink at yourself the whole show?
No, but because the background of the Hangouts window is black, I can see my reflection in my monitor.
Black.
I'm sexy, and I know it.
All right. Well, in the absence of anything else, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies, hit that like button. And many of you have not. Holy cow. And share our stuff. I have a new video out today. You should share that, whether you like it or not.
Share it far and wide with everyone you know.
Oh, and the other thing I did today, very early this morning, like the first thing I did when I got up was watch Tin Cup.
What did you think? And I don't want, I know just your
No,
overall.
I can't.
You can give your overall.
The overall, it was 45 minutes too long.
I would not disagree with that. I wouldn't.
Okay. That is as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to save everything else for tomorrow because otherwise I'll just start getting into it, and I don't want to ruin the whole point of the stream tomorrow.
Yeah, and what he's talking about, guys, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific, we will be discussing the Kevin Costner movie Tin Cup on my channel on Movies You Should Have Watched. So make sure you tune in for that. Otherwise, we don't have a lot of news tonight, right?
I don't know. Not a whole lot of like headline stuff happened, except to say that, and this is just my claim. I don't know if this is actually true, but I think this may have been the deadliest April in history for celebrities. And it's not over yet.
Another one.
We lost another one. Vern Troyer, a.k.a. Mini-Me from the Austin Powers movie, dies at 49. Vern Troyer, who played Mini-Me in 2 Austin Power comedy films, has died at the age of 49, according to statements posted to his social media account Saturday. Troyer was 49, which you already said. Thank you, CNN. No cause of death was immediately released. Now, even though they said no cause of death was immediately released, the statement from his people or whatever didn't directly say what caused his death, but they did make a heavy mention of the fact that he'd had struggles and the depression and anxiety, etc., can afflict a lot of people. So I'm presuming, without any confirmation officially, that he may have taken his own life in some fashion.
Well, that's generally speaking, that's what it is when they'll tell you we're not releasing a cause of death. Real quick, thank you, Sarah Plyer. Happy birthday to the sexiest monkey I know. Unfortunately, I can't afford a birthday spanking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember, guys, spankings are $200, and that is a hard limit.
Lady Monkey well enough to do that?
Oh yeah, she's actually feeling much better.
Oh,
The antibiotics have kicked in. She was horrible for those first couple of days, man. But yeah, she's up and around today, so it was good.
Your boy Pat says they're saying alcohol poisoning. Well, it wouldn't take much.
Yeah, that would.
I wasn't meant to be a joke. I'll take it.
From what I've heard of him, yeah, he's depression and a lot of stories about him kind of being a dickhole often, and it's been attributed to both alcohol and depression. So.
Mm-hmm.
Is Lady Monkey in chat? Everybody's saying hi to her. I didn't see her.
Oh
yeah, there she is. Hey, baby, love you,
Lady Monkey.
You should have gave it up earlier today when I tried nailing you. I'm just throwing that out there. We were celebrating my birthday. You should have blown out my candle. That's all I'm saying.
Whoa. So you said you had a story though, because I don't have any others really.
Sure, let's do this story. This comes to us from the Daily Caller. I am a Caucasian. Amy Schumer goes on The View, says a woman of color should have played her in new movie.
What? My new movie? God, the crime of my new movie is that they hired me to play it.
Oh, wait Seriously? Until you hear the humble brag in this fucking thing.
Oh, by all means.
Amy Schumer confirmed she is, in fact, white Friday on The View. Thank you, Ace Phoenix. Here's a down payment for a spanking. LOL. Yeah. And guys, yeah. Oh, wow. Attack Alpaca, thank you. By telling us your age and DOB, is that considered doxing yourself? Anyway, happy birthday. No, there's a lot of 43-year-olds with my birthday. Actually, a lot of them born on this day, in fact. She stated she would have liked if a woman of color was the star of the new movie, I Feel Pretty, the movie that she herself, a white woman, chose to star in. Quote, the backlash was people. Okay. Sorry, Amy's not the best speaker. The backlash was people were saying your character is blonde, of healthy weight, who is attractive, and you're supposed to make us believe that you are ugly. How do you respond to that? Did you catch that humble brag bullshit?
You're supposed to make us believe that you're ugly?
Look, Amy Schumer is not the ugliest woman ever born, but she ain't the prettiest either. Her face is too small for her head. That is just, she looks like a garbage pail kid. She really does. Anyway, First of all, that's the nicest backlash I've ever heard, Schumer said.
What?
No, it just made me excited for people to see the movie, she said. It's not about an ugly, vile troll getting beautiful. It's about a girl who really struggles with self-esteem, which is something we can all relate to. Also, I think it's fair to say that it's a lot harder for other people, she added. And I recognize that I am Caucasian. Like, I would love if this movie were starring a woman of color who had it way harder than me. And I hope we get there. This is hopefully just a step in the right direction.
Wait. Are you quoting there?
That is all quote.
Who have it harder than me?
Yes, way harder than her. Real quick. Thank you, Chaos Eve. Happy Womb Emancipation Day, Monkey. May you forever remain free of the confines of your mother's womb. Stop by the Minions of the Tonight, and I will get them to sing to you. Thank you so much, Chaos. I will do my best to remember to do that. Adam Angold, thank you. Thomas Smith made this same argument.
Thomas Smith. Who's Thomas Smith?
I don't know who Thomas Smith is.
I don't either. It sounds like an economist from the 1600s or something.
Let's see who Thomas Smith is. Oh, he's the guy that the guy that Sargon was arguing with? That's the name that comes up.
Okay.
At MythCon? Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was making that kind of argument. Yep. Gotcha. But yeah, that's the story, is that yeah, she went on The View and people are telling her she's really pretty, and it's hard for them to imagine that she could play somebody who's not.
Like, oh my God.
Like, oh my God.
No, you want to see a transformation from someone who is just like naturally gorgeous into someone who is cringeworthy, like creepy looking. You want to look at Charlize Theron in Monster. The transformation they put her through is amazing. I mean, like if you hadn't told me it was her playing that role, it would have taken me a little while to figure it out, because they made her look so not her in that movie.
Yeah. They made her look like she crawled out of a trailer park after a rough weekend.
Yeah.
Lady Monkey, can you get Monkey to read my birthday post? What was your birthday post?
Birthday post? I don't know what that is.
Me neither. Let me know, Jenna. What are we talking about there? But yeah, so she thinks that they should have had, a woman of color in there, because apparently it's easier to believe women of color are ugly.
And have it harder.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this means then that Amy Schumer will no longer take any roles that star Amy Schumer, because otherwise that would be racist.
She says, scroll up. Let me see.
Oh.
Monkey, happy birthday. Hear the Mormon happy birthday song. Happy birthday, Monkey dear. Happiness will come to you all year. And if I had a wish, it'd be happy birthday to you from me. Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. And yeah, guys, I'm sorry, especially early on in the stream, we missed so much of chat. It's not on purpose. We love you guys. And if I missed something, I do apologize. But yeah, I read this and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? One, that fucking humble brag. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, I can't believe you're playing an ugly girl.
It's just impossible for you to do that.
Maybe if they had smell-o-vision with your barnyard cunt. That still bothers me. But again, she's not horribly ugly. She's just I could see her playing an ugly chick.
Okay. I'm looking through some of the MSS news stories people have sent us, and one of these has just completely broken my brain, but we'll get to it in a minute.
Okay. The only other thing that I know is going on, and we didn't talk about, is the Dems suing Russia, or the Dems are suing over Russia, Trump, and WikiLeaks. I think Ben Shapiro, said it best, because they're talking about collusion and rigging the election, Sure. The Democrats are suing over that, and he goes, you should be suing your own party over rigging the election for Hillary.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of room to talk, Dems.
I sometimes I am impressed by someone's denial of reality. If you want to be generous, and this would be very generous, you could say that the Democrats are at least half responsible for their loss.
At least, yeah.
At least half. which is probably, fair because there was only two people really running and they fucked it up. But they don't want to even admit that they have any culpability in their own failure. It must have been Russia. It was cheating. I mean, if the roles were reversed, if Hillary had won and you had Trump doing this exact same thing, what would be the narrative from not only the mainstream media, but of course the Democrats? Oh, sour grapes. Oh, conspiracy theories. Oh, ballot box stuffing. Blah 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 blah. Anyway,
Wait.
They wanted to spend their money on lawyers. Go ahead.
I want to read this part. Tom Perez, chairman of the National Democratic Committee, said the party's suit is not partisan, it's patriotic.
Oh shit.
Suck my dick, Tom. Circus Zero, thank you so much. Happy early birthday, Monkey. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love my birthday. I've said this before. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it's my birthday, please don't notice. I fucking love my birthday. It's the day I was born. And as much as I love me, the day I came to be is very special to me. And for the record, it is not fucking Earth Day. Fuck trees. Fuck them right in the ass. Trees, no. That hippie shit needs to be moved to another day. It does not need to be on Monkey Day. Dirty fucking hippies. Slid that shit in there. No. Bad hippies. Stop it. Okay, I'm done. So yeah, if we don't have any other headlines, we could move right on to MSS News.
Sure, and remember, guys, if you don't have the ability to donate to a Monkey stream tonight, go punch a hippie. That'll make up for it.
Punch a hippie or punch a tree, whichever works for you.
There you go.
Guys, if there's a story you'd like us to read, hit us up on Twitter at #MSS News. Can't get to them all, but we try to get to as many as we can. And seriously, guys, we cannot tell you how much we appreciate all of the submissions you give us.
Yeah,
we like when you submit.
Our favorite news hounds, you guys are. So the picture that is captioned to the story is what freaked me out, and I thought for a second it was some kind of Photoshop thing, but this is, so far as I know, this isn't coming from a fake news site, so I'm going to read this. This comes from Massive Dynamics. Cancer Girl, that's what you call kids with cancer, of course. Cancer Girl 7 has amputated leg reattached backwards in the hope that she can dance again.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, I'm going to post this in the chat. And remember, guys, if you try to take this and put it in your browser, you got to backspace once, possibly, in order to get rid of an invisible character. Brave Amelia Eldred was diagnosed with an osteosarcoma in her femur last August and underwent chemotherapy, then surgery to amputate the affected limb. Surgery to remove the tumor was carried out at the Royal Orthopedic Hospital using a rare procedure called rotationplasty, where Amelia's egg was amputated high up on her thigh. Then her lower leg was reattached the wrong way around, meaning that her heel will eventually work as a knee joint with her foot slipping into a prosthetic. Surgeons say smiling Amelia has coped with the surgery brilliantly, as she has vowed to one day dance again. Yeah. So that's weird. I mean, I understand.
Let me get a super chat. Thank you, Jaeger Pony. Put this money towards a chainsaw, kill some trees or hippies with it for the rest of us, Monkey. Thank you so much. I probably won't kill hippies. I don't want to go to jail for them, but I'd cut down a tree. Anyway, go ahead.
So I don't know what else to say. This is just like
they flipped it over.
Yeah. So let me read that part again. Okay.
That's not what I was thinking when they said backwards.
Yeah. Okay. So she had her lower leg was reattached the wrong way around, meaning that her heel will eventually work as a knee joint with her foot slipping into a prosthetic. Her heel will work as a knee joint.
So they flipped it upside down. Her foot is going to be where her knee should be. And they're going to, okay, I understand.
Yeah, I get it. Like I say, I get it. It's just so odd. But, if that works and she can still walk with it.
Lady Monkey's probably right. Is it going to be, or her foot is actually backwards too?
Yes, her foot is backwards. Yeah.
Okay.
So, weird. I mean, I'm glad that, effectively they were able to save most of her leg by taking out the bad part and putting the rest on good, but damn.
Deck Tran, that's not right. Ranting monkey becomes a hippie. No. You know what? I had a counselor in high school who told me I was the last true hippie because I told him I didn't think it was right that I had to take shop class because I didn't give a fuck about shop. And that motherfucker called me the last true hippie because I said that. I didn't like him. I still like you, but you're on the thin ice. Just saying.
All right, so this one comes from Jack the motherfucking Cockring, or sorry, senior staff reporter Jack Cochran. Should I transition back to that instead of the motherfucking thing to make?
Well, what you could do is senior staff reporter Jack the motherfucking Cochran.
I could do that if I didn't want to sound like an idiot every time. But anyway, Vice Media is sued after employee is assaulted on assignment. After being sexually assaulted in the field, the employee was shunned from her workplace, the complaint alleges. So after she was
got
assaulted,
raped and they started treating her like shit.
I guess a freelancer at the counterculture media giant Vice, who was sexually assaulted while on assignment, filed a lawsuit Friday claiming the company blamed her for the attack and pushed her out of her job. It's the latest controversy for the hipster global content giant. Is that what it is? I suppose so. And comes just a month after co-founder Shane Smith stepped down as CEO, and as the $5.7 billion company, supported by investors like Disney and 21st Century Fox, continues to reckon with reports of systemic sexual harassment and mistreatment of women. So anyway, here's the story. 3 years ago, Sayer Shakir, then a 28-year-old lawyer, decided she wanted to be a journalist. You know, like you do. Not long after she left her job at a Los Angeles law firm, she found an opportunity where many hungry, inexperienced journalists have landed: Vice Media.
Hang on. I need to address something in chat because now they're all calling me hippies. Just because your mama give me free love don't make me no hippie. Go ahead.
Shakir joined a small team in the West Coast bureau making Vice World of Sports, a documentary series appearing on Viceland, the company's branded cable channel, that sought to tell the stories of people, their culture, and politics through a sports lens. Shakir had no formal journalism training when she began freelancing as an associate producer for Viceland. Why am I not surprised? But within a few months, she was living her dream, working on projects in the field in Lebanon and then Algeria. And then things fell apart. In April 2016, as Shakir's team ready to film a soccer match in Algiers, Shakir said she was sexually assaulted by a crowd of men outside the stadium. Vice's response to that incident is at the center of a lawsuit filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court. In the lawsuit, which seeks unspecified monetary damages for 7 distinct claims, including wrongful termination, whistleblower retaliation, and defamation, Shakir alleges her superiors at Vice World of Sports and the company's head of human resources blamed the attack on her and ultimately forced her out of her job. Let's see if they have anything else on here. Let's see. NBC News, which had been independently investigating the Algiers incident when the lawsuit was filed, interviewed 7 former Vice employees who worked with Shakir in 2016. Those employees, 2 of whom were present during the assault, said Shakir returned to the U.S. shaken and fearful that speaking about the incident or asking the company for assistance in dealing with the trauma would threaten her job. So she didn't say anything? Shakir and her California attorney, Alyssa Shablowski.
When did the event happen?
It was 2016, okay. April 2016, so 2 years ago.
All right.
Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, I don't quite understand it. This goes on for quite a long time, guys. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but so she came back, but she didn't want to say anything in case she got bad results from saying so to her job, but now she's saying that she got kicked out of her job because they blamed her for it. I'm missing something.
Confused.
Yeah, I'm missing something somewhere in there. Moving on. What's this? Oh, good. Why not? This also comes from senior staff reporter Jack the motherfucking Cochran.
That was close.
Oh, this is the second time? Okay. Another suitor breaks into Taylor Swift's house, showers, and then takes a nap.
Why?
And can you imagine how this story begins with 3 magic words?
No, go ahead.
A Florida man
Oh
who
my
should know
God.
who should know by now that breaking and entering is not the way into Taylor Swift's heart, appears to have burgled his way into her Soho townhouse via ladder and broken window, taken a shower, and napped in her bed. Classic Florida man. The New York Times notes that the same alleged stalker, from whom page 6 has identified as Roger Alvarado, 22, was arrested in February on charges of breaking down the door with a shovel. So this is his second time breaking into her house, or trying
It's the
to.
same guy?
Apparently so.
All right.
I guess. The same alleged stalker whom page, yeah. All right. Well then, there you go, I guess.
The same dude.
Second verse, same
Move
as the
on.
first. Let's see, what's this one? Okay, this one comes from Froggy.
Froggy.
This is from the Daily Beast. State agency accidentally releases remote mind control records. Okay. In response to a journalist standard Freedom of Information Act request for records on Antifa and white supremacist groups, the Washington State Fusion Center, sounds like a place you go to make like energy weapons or something, I don't know, reportedly released a file containing records on, quote, remote mind control, unquote, techniques. According to Muckrock, a nonprofit that publishes government information gathered through Freedom of Information Act requests, the mind control documents came from the Department of Homeland Security linked agency in the form of a file called EM Effects on Human Body.zip. The file reportedly contains various diagrams detailing the horrors of, quote, psychoelectronic weapon effects. One diagram lists the various forms of torment supposedly made possible by using remote mind control methods, from, quote, forced memory blanking, unquote, and, quote, sudden violent itching inside eyelids, to wild flailing, followed by rigor mortis, and remotely induced forced orgasm.
Jesus.
It was not immediately clear how the documents wound up in the agency's response to a standard Freedom of Information Act request, but there was reportedly no indication the, quote, remote mind control files stemmed from any government program.
Real quick, thank you, James Colley. Happy early birthday. It isn't much. Boy, that's a lot. Thank you so much.
What is the Washington State Fusion Center? Oh, it actually has a government website. Okay, what is it?
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, supposedly, they achieved remote rigor mortis and forced orgasm.
So the Washington State Fusion Center, this is their mission statement, and it's an actual government agency, apparently. The mission of the Washington State Fusion Center is to support the public safety and homeland security missions of state, local, tribal agencies, and private sector entities. So they're a support group for law enforcement? And I don't understand what that is. That's weird.
Real quick, thank you, Seal77. Happy birthday, my old man. Thank you. I'm not old, I'm middle-aged, y'all.
Wait, you're his old man? How many kids do you have?
Did I know about? 3.
Okay.
Well, 4 now.
Let's see. Jack Cochran sent us a lot of stories. Let me scroll down a bit. I think we probably have. What's this? Okay, this one comes from Captain Brambles. Don't see much from Captain Brambles, I don't think. Passenger assaults air marshal, throws coffee on fellow flyers, and overturns a drink cart on Delta flight from London to Salt Lake City.
Jesus.
She was in a mood. A rowdy passenger, that's putting it mildly, aboard a Delta Airlines flight, at least it wasn't Southwest, from London to Salt Lake City has been arrested for allegedly assaulting an air marshal and throwing coffee on passengers. Sarah Maria Beach, 45, an American expat living in London, faces misdemeanor assault charges which were filed in U.S. District Court in Utah on Thursday. Excuse me. Prosecutors have alleged that Beach threw coffee on passengers during the flight, overturned a drink cart, and ran up and down the aisle of the plane. Flight attendants asked air marshals who were sitting in the back of the plane to help subdue Beach. After Beach calmed down, she was seated next to one of the air marshals who escorted her to the bathroom 3 times. After she came out the 3rd time, she allegedly jumped on the air marshal's back and grabbed his head, neck, and jaw.
Why? What is this? Was she okay? She was drunk, right?
It does not say what was the cause of her behavior. She was eventually handcuffed, and after she was pulled off the guy, she was handcuffed and restrained for the rest of the flight. If she's convicted of these charges, she faces up to a year in federal prison. Well, I hope it was worth it.
All right, now this is one of those times I'm going to agree with how do I want to say this? The black activists. If this had been a black man, they'd have landed that plane and shot his ass. That's just science, y'all.
Let's see. Oh, this one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Oh, the headline instructs you to watch the attached video, so I'll just have to read the story. But so the headline reads, "Watch this judge brutally berate a woman in a wheelchair. The woman died. The judge has quit."
Wait.
So here we go.
All right.
And this is a Florida story, by the way. A Broward County Circuit judge delivered a blistering, arm-waving, face-palming, tongue-lashing to a frail, out-of-breath woman pushed into court in a wheelchair who was facing misdemeanor charges following a family feud. 3 days later, the defendant died. Judge Marilee Ehrlich has resigned, although it is unclear when that resignation was provided and when it becomes effective. News of the death of Sandra Faye Twiggs, 59, surfaced Friday. The courtroom rant last Saturday was so over the top that Broward's elected public defender, Howard Finkelstein, demanded that Judge Marilee Ehrlich be banned from the criminal courthouse. Quote, "It is not appropriate for anyone to endure that kind of treatment," said Finkelstein's chief assistant, Gordon Weeks. Quote, "All that was required was a bit of patience and a bit of respect to allow this lady to speak, to gather herself, and to breathe. Instead, Twiggs died, quote, and never had the opportunity to have her dignity restored." Twiggs suffered from asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, also called COPD. She ended up under arrest after squabbling with her 19-year-old daughter.
What did the judge say to her that was so bad that it killed her?
That's okay. Here we go. Let's see. In a video of the April 15th encounter, Ehrlich appears to the left of a split screen, and Twiggs is shown seated in a wheelchair, barely visible above a lectern at the North Broward Satellite Courthouse. Ehrlich asks Twiggs whether she and her daughter, the alleged victim, live in the same house. Twiggs tries to answer the question, which requires more than a yes or no, because the 19-year-old doesn't live with Twiggs full time. Mid-sentence, Ehrlich snaps at her, quote, "Excuse me, don't say anything beyond what I am asking you." Clearly exasperated, Ehrlich asked Twiggs' lawyer, who is in a different location during the video hookup, to make Twiggs stop talking. As Twiggs coughs and holds her head, Ehrlich speaks to the deputies who are off screen. Can someone there give her water as a kindness? But the judge's anger continues to boil over. Twiggs tells the judge that she needs medical treatment for her pulmonary problems. The judge erupts, quote, "Ma'am, I am not here to talk to you about your breathing treatments." Again, Ehrlich prevails upon Twiggs' lawyer to teach her better courtroom manners. Quote, "Will you say something in the microphone so that she can hear you and you can give her instructions about propriety in the court?" the judge says. "I'm not going to spend all day with her interrupting me." I think this probably has to be watched to be appreciated, so I'm not going to try to do the whole thing. But.
Yeah. But if she died 3 days later, it's kind of hard to blame the judge for that.
Yeah, that's these two things are not related directly.
Yeah, the judge is a douche, but
I mean, she was home when she died. She had been released by that point, and she was at home. So yeah, this is.
I understand that was more than a yes or no answer, but part-time is a pretty simple answer to give the judge too. Does the defendant live with you? Part-time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Flair Fritz. Happy birthday, you crippled fuck. Love you and hope you have a great birthday. Maybe you'll get some tail for your special day. Hint, hint, Lady Monkey. Big hint, hint, Lady Monkey. Keep on trucking and keep on fucking. Thank you so much, Flair. I fucking love the Minions. You guys are awesome.
Let's see.
Let's see.
There you go.
Miss anything today. I'm for the record, guys. Thank you, Peter. Happy birthday, Monkey. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm building. I got a Lego set for my birthday. It's a little one. It's Spider-Man and Sandman, and they have little vehicles. And I'm trying to get that built while I'm listening, and I'm trying not to miss anything as I go. But my hands are way too big for this shit.
How about another Florida story?
We can do quite a few more stories tonight because it's just you and me, and I didn't do anything on YouTube, so
just you
let's rock
me,
some.
Kid. All right, this one comes from Captain Brambles again. Excuse me. Florida man adjusts his radio, crashes off a 50-foot tall bridge in a Chevy Camaro.
What?
He got distracted, I guess.
That's hella distracted.
The promised autonomous driving revolution can't come soon enough for some people, like the subject of today's entry in the Florida Man Chronicles, a distracted driver who lost control of his 2016 Chevrolet Camaro convertible while adjusting the radio, launched off the side of a highway bridge and plunged 50 feet to the street below. According to the Tampa Bay Times, the unofficial Dukes of Hazzard impression began when 61-year-old Thomas Highhouse took his eyes off the road to mess with the stereo in his new Camaro while driving down Interstate 275 in St. Petersburg. Highhouse, quote, failed to maintain control of the vehicle, unquote, as the Florida Highway Patrol clinically put it, hit an embankment in the median and soared into the air like a majestic bird. But what goes up must come down. Sorry?
I just like that majestic bird line. Keep going.
The guy writing this is having a ball. But since what goes up must come down, the Camaro fell approximately 50 feet to the street below, much to the surprise of passing drivers. Fortunately, it landed on a grass-covered shoulder and came to a stop without striking any other cars. And Highhouse somehow walked away without a scratch. Lucky guy. Yeah, so there you go. A brand new Camaro down the tubes.
Real quick, I forget who it was in chat here. Where's that at? SDW said, how long before Little Monkey decides it's hers, talking about my Legos? I specifically told Lady Monkey what I wanted for my birthday. Grand Monkey loves to open presents. Whether they're hers or not, she just likes to open presents. And so I specifically asked for something that she could open that she would like to have fun playing with too. So these, as much as these Legos are for me, they're actually more for her to steal from me when she comes over.
Let's see. So in another sign that our robot overlords are on the way, this one comes from Devil Fruit Zero. Robot conquers one of the hardest human tasks, assembling IKEA furniture. And the article's playing a video that I cannot turn off, apparently.
Nice.
That was weird. Yeah, it's like embedded into the thing, and it's... Okay, that was odd. I muted the tab because that was hurting my ears. Let's see. Researchers in Singapore explained how they created a robot that could devise and execute a plan to put together an IKEA chair. So we're talking about artificial intelligence?
Kind of.
Robots have taken our jobs, learned our chores, and beaten us at our own games. Now researchers in Singapore say they have trained one to perform another task known to confound humans, figuring out how to assemble furniture from IKEA. Just read the instructions. It's simple. A team from Nanyang Technical University programmed a robot to create and execute a plan to piece together most of IKEA's $25 solid pine Stefan chair on its own. Yes?
Most of it?
That's what I'm curious about. It's like most of it. On
Okay,
its
I'm
own,
sorry.
calling on a medley of human skills to do so. The researchers explained their work in a study published on Wednesday in the journal Science Robotics. Quote, if you think about it, it requires perception, it requires you to plan a motion, it requires control between the robot and the environment, it requires transporting an object with two arms simultaneously, said Dr. Quang Pham, an assistant professor of engineering at the university and one of the paper's authors. Because this task requires so many interesting skills for robots, we felt it could be a good project to push our capabilities to the limit. Take it to the limit. Yeah, so great. Robots are putting together furniture. Soon they'll be killing us.
How useful is that?
Well, it's not a matter of useful. It's about pushing. Like I said, they're testing the limits of what the robot was capable of doing and the exactitude of the motions and putting everything together. They're not building robots to build chairs. They're testing their robots' like ability to move around and manipulate the environment.
But why not do it with something useful? Something that a robot might be used for sometime. Because they're never gonna, unless maybe Walmart buys something to put together its own furniture. This is never going to be used. It's a waste.
It's not a waste. How about this? And this is just me guessing. Let's say, let's say you created a robot arm, and you test it to see if it can do very precise tasks with small objects to create a specific item to plan. Right. All right. Then once you've tested that out, you can prove that robotic arm can do that. What's to say you can't put that same technology into a prosthetic for someone who's an amputee?
Why not put that into the thing to begin with?
Well, if you test it out in the field first before you start working on human trial stuff, is what I'm saying.
Mexican says because no one wants to be the first to test a sex bot.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
Fair enough. All right. What about the butler droid? Okay.
Why did you make the vagina out of a bear trap? Let's see. What else do we got? We got a lot of stories here. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything really. Okay. This one comes from Ulster Scott. Japanese women's boobs are getting bigger.
I saw that headline. That's cool.
Japanese ladies have typically been rather modest in the chest department throughout history, but they appear to be getting bigger. They're
not modest. They've had small titties.
I think that's what that means. Newly released sales figures show that larger bra sizes are on the up in Japan, and on average, bigger busts are becoming increasingly more common. Hooray for boobies, jubblies, tatas, breasticles, mammaries, etc., etc. While Japanese bra sizes aren't likely to catch up with their Western counterparts in the near future, according to underwear brand Triumph's Lingerie White report, there's a definitive curve, and year-on-year Japanese women's breasts are increasing in size. I'm going to say Fukushima radiation.
There you go.
A cup bra, sorry.
Do you think this will make real quick, good job on not dying for another 28 months. Thank you, Terry Diamandis. Do you think this will make women around the world hate Asians even more? Asian women?
Do they already hate Asian? This is something I'm not aware of.
Some do. Because, Asians got them tiny little pussies, and now they're going to have big old breasts, so they're going to be like the perfect women. Besides Lady Monkey, who's the perfect woman, but you know what I mean.
The anime fans are going to be just, popping out of their pants with this. So
be like, oh my God, it's real anime. Anyway.
A-cup bras now account for just 5.3% of total sales in comparison to a whopping 58.6% in 1980.
Wow.
Okay. B-cup now amount to 20.5% compared to 25.2% in 1980. C-cups are bought by C-cups are bought by 26.3% of Japanese Triumph customers 24.1% buy D cup, and 16.2% wear E cups. Jesus.
Damn.
E cup. And ample F cup wearing ladies have now taken over the A cup category with 6%. So that really gives you a feel for the breasts of Japanese women. Ha 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 ha.
Now, is this natural or is this because
I don't know.
And by natural, I still mean
eugenics, I'm assuming.
That would include, radiation. What I mean is they're not implants.
They don't say anything about what might be causing it. They just say that they are getting bigger per the sales of bras. So who knows? Maybe it is surgery that's increasing it, but it would surprise me if like so much of the population of Japanese women were getting breast implants that it would affect those statistics that dramatically.
Mining Hitler says B and C are perfect. Don't at me. B's a little small. C is where I like to be.
C is where you like to be.
C is where I like to be. B's aren't bad. Don't get me wrong.
Not the bees.
And frankly,
not the bees. Oh, sorry.
If there's a woman who's willing to let you touch her vagina and she has A cups and she's of age, I need to make sure we throw that in there with A cups. You still should be thankful that she let you touch those titties too. Thank you, James Colley. See what happens when you start labeling Asians as white? Bigger tits. That's true. They're white now, so. No, if a woman lets you touch her naked, you be thankful for whatever boobs she has, y'all.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rest a moment because I've been talking nonstop and my voice is starting to hurt.
Sure, yeah, that's no problem. I've been trying to throw in some color commentary. I'm done with my Legos, by the way, which for some reason Spider-Man came with a shovel. I guess because he's fighting Sandman, but okay. Thank you, Diesel Dave. It's the hormones and all the food. That could be it. I don't know.
Fighting Sandman's easy. You know how you fight Sandman? Fire hydrant.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I learned from the Sega Genesis game.
The best way to fight Sandman is with a vacuum cleaner.
That works too.
Maybe. No, I've seen Spider-Man do it in comics. I was going to share a little bit story with you, and if you guys don't follow Lady Monkey on Twitter, you don't know this story. So if you do follow her, fuck you. You get to hear it again. Me and Little Butt were playing, or not Legos. We were playing. First we were playing Legos, and then she yawned, and she looks at me, rubbing her eyes. She goes, "You should play Play-Doh. That's what you play when you're tired." I was like, "Oh, you are so goddamn cute."
Oh, geez.
Anyway, we were playing Play-Doh, and I started singing to her because that's what I do. And I was singing The Gambler, and she does not know the words to this song, but she started singing along. Aww. It was so cute. And then I sang your song to her, and that one she would actually repeat the words after I'd sing them. Oh, good. It was adorable. Yeah, we played a lot outside today. She was so full of life. She's been cooped up in this house so long. Every time she comes over, because we've had a few warm days like this, but she hasn't been here for it. Every time she comes over, it's like freaking snowed outside. So this was the first time she got to take her Minnie Mouse four-wheeler outside, and she takes it outside and immediately jumps off of it and asks me, "Can we open the garage?" For those of you who don't know, my garage is filled with Grand Monkey shit. It's got her pool in there.
Go ahead. You want to rephrase that?
Oh yeah, Grand Monkey's stuff. She saw her other little car. She saw her basketball hoop, her pool, which she wanted to set up. And I said, "No, we can't right now." She goes, "When it gets warmer?" Yeah, when it gets warmer. But yeah, I had to scold her mother today because me and Little Butt were walking down the driveway, which we do a lot. And Little Butt was getting a little ahead of me, which she does. And I call her back, and her mom is just up on the hill giving this little child shit about getting back with grandma. And I'd like, or with grandpa, sorry. I'm like, she's with me right now. You shut the hell up and go away. Terry D. Monis, thank you. The Gambler, does being crippled make it easier to know when to walk away and when to run? No, actually it doesn't, but I get your joke. That was funny, actually. Lady Monkey says, LOL, tell your demonist with Monkey it's know when to fold them and when to trip down the stairs.
Oh!
Again, the plural for Lego is Lego. No, it's not. It's Legos. And you're never going to convince me otherwise.
It's the fall of a cripple. It's the perilous plight. No.
Oh, hey, Allie. Thank you. Allie stopped by to say happy birthday. And again, guys, my birthday is in 5 hours and some odd minutes at this point. And yes, I do actually count down my birthday to the actual time because that's how much I love me. So
YouTube time?
Yes, let's do some YouTube time. I didn't do anything today. I sat here and I wanted to. And actually, I came up with the idea for my next video because I've been having trouble no matter what story we come across. And there's been a lot of them that I want to say something on. But I haven't found anything to say enough that I think it would make a video, right? Mm-hmm. So I was sitting outside today with Little Butt watching her run around. And the idea came to me. I've never made a video where I express my beliefs. And when I say beliefs, I don't actually mean beliefs because that's what people call it, but my thoughts. So it's going to be more of a, I get asked often, what my political persuasion is, what I think about X and Y. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a general overview of the biggest topics of the day and where I stand on it. And by biggest topics, I mean, I don't mean David Hogg. David Hogg is a minor fly in the ass of humanity. But gun control, that is an actual topic. Things like free speech, of course, and immigration and religion. Yeah, things like that. So I think that's going to be my next video because as much as there's things I want to talk about the things we see, when I sit down to do it, I just can't bring myself to make a video on it. Lady Monkey today gave me the idea. She goes, what you should do is 10 topics in 10 minutes. And I'm like, I could do that. I mean, that's about what I think I have to say about most things these days.
Yeah, 1 minute per.
I've got to learn to be more opinionated, y'all. Obviously I'm not enough, but yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Guys, I do not know if me and Satsu are going to be gaming tonight. He is at his mom's house, and when he's there, he relies on her for transportation back home. So it depends on when he gets back home and how tired he is. So keep an eye on Twitter for that. And if not, I do not shit all over the ideas you give me, Lady Monkey. Mm-hmm. How about this? How about you make your own channel and do your own damn videos?
Yeah,
stop telling me what to do.
I want a Lady Monkey video.
Yeah, and then I'll give you ideas for videos. See what you like. Anyway,
I want one with she's got Grand Monkey on her lap and she's reading her stories.
Oh God, that would be amazing. That child is so funny. Seal 7, how about a live Q&A with us peeps? You know what? I haven't done that for a while. Maybe we'll do an Ask Me Anything sometime real soon. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm working on. What do you got going on, Scribe?
Well, I made the video that I was kind of hesitant about making just because I was like, what the hell? And you have a super chat, so I'll wait.
Thank you, Super Steven. First off, happy birthday, Monkey. And second, leave it to a midget or little person to die on Monkey's birthday. Just saying. Yeah, no shit, right? I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. You're right. That was kind of fitting.
So there was a video copy, or at least a edited together copy of the conversation that Forbes magazine had with Susan Wojcicki, or however you say her name, from CEO of YouTube.
Yeah, Wojcicki. Thank you, Flair Fritz. Are you going to have a birthday three-way with Weibo's grandma and Mama Satsu? I would. I mean, if I wasn't married and happily so, yeah. I would bang them both.
So she's asked several things in this interview, but the main thrust of it, no pun intended, is about diversity in tech. They start off by, and I have to assume because they never specifically say, they start off by sort of alluding to the Me Too and Harvey Weinstein cataclysm that occurred last year. and how that's sort of affected and brought about the questions and such. And then they slide into the Google memo and how that was a violation of the code of conduct, and you can't have that kind of thing that's hurtful to 50% of the employees. And I was like, wait a second. I literally, when I watched the video the first time, I paused the video. I thought, is there 50% female employment at Google? I had no idea. I was like, is that a thing? I looked up, like, no, they're like 30%. I was like, so why would you say that? And then I started the video again, and she says, you can't put something out there that's hurtful to 50% of the employees who could potentially come work for a company. And I was like, what? Hurtful to people that aren't even working at the company that the memo is directed to? What? She's just, and then she goes on to talk about, how women need help and we need to make computer science mandatory classing for kids. And
no, we don't. God damn it.
And what? Oh yeah, and at Google we want to have an open dialogue, and I immediately didn't need to think too hard. I was like, oh, I'm going to put a big but here, but you can't have something that's going to be promoting stereotypes, because anytime you promote a stereotype, that's a problem. And as soon as she said that, I was like, I'm going to have to clip that, because I just know that later on in this conversation, she's going to say something like, women need our help, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to stick that, promoting any kind of stereotype is a problem. And she did, go on. So anyway, it was, it was kind of a mess, because I don't know if it's the way they edited the questions together, but it felt like some things were missing. But they apparently took like a long conversation and they cut out all the pauses between someone asking a question and her answering. So it's like immediate. It's very awkward. And so I don't know. I can't tell through the flow of the video if I'm missing some stuff. I can only work with what they gave me. So there you go. The CEO of YouTube trying to give a guide on diversity in the workplace, and most importantly, how to avoid groupthink. And the advice she gives on how to avoid groupthink is the opposite. Just, you'll see. Otherwise, that's all. I just sat down and just hammered that whole video out today, and I think I was sitting in my chair for about 3.5 hours flat without doing anything else, just working on that. So, and that was after watching Tin Cup. So I had a very productive first half of my day.
Cool. With that, if you're done.
Oh, I was going to say YouTube drama time.
Oh yeah, YouTube drama. I was not near a computer most of my day where I could pay attention to that.
Well,
I do know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do know there's some weird shit going on with the Kumite / irritable bowel syndrome people. But I haven't been paying attention to it, so can't give you specifics on it. That's all I know about.
The real drama has been Kilroy. Because all day it's been photos from Kilroy showing the speakers, like Christina Hoff Sommers standing in front of like 75% empty chairs. And
sorry.
Yeah, and Mr. Medicare has been particularly on this, and then Mundane Matt's been trying to sort of fight back a little bit by showing camera angles from different places, and Jeff Holliday's there, and they've got the ball pit balls have the Kilroy event written on them. Like this is an official ball pit ball from the Kilroy event, which I thought was cute.
Yeah, that was funny.
So I haven't watched any videos taken from the event yet, so I don't know who said what or how it went or what the real crowd looked like, but that's been... people have been either shitting on it completely or trying to be supportive, I guess, one of the two.
I noticed, because I was watching... Bunty was live streaming Roaming Millennials Talk, and right. Before I saw the live stream, there was a picture of it, and yeah, it looks like an empty room, which is to be expected with all of the garbage that went on with it.
Mm-hmm.
They shot themselves in the foot. And as I've said, there's a lot of people there I would love to talk to. And I really hope they get the shit together, and that maybe they can make this an actually annual thing, that next year nobody's shitting all over for the way they did it. Because again, they never should have called this a free speech event. That is a problem. Because if you name something a free speech event, you're going to get one of two things. You're going to get the people who say, you have to let me say anything, which is maybe not what you're talking about. Or the people who think it's only about the First Amendment, and refuse to allow any other ideas in. And neither one of those is a good thing. You need a healthy mix of both, I think. So maybe what they should have done with Kilroy is what they meant is a more conservative VidCon is what they were going for. And I know a lot of people involved don't want to be conservative, but come on, you are, you know it.
Or maybe a less flashy VidCon, a more focused.
Well, the problem with VidCon, and I don't know how many people know this, VidCon was not created by YouTube. It was created by the Green brothers, and they are both fairly liberal. And that's why when we saw the garbage human thing from Anita Sarkeesian, that asshole Hank Green apologized to her instead of Sargon, who was in the audience getting insulted by one of his speakers. Yeah, don't act like a libtard con. That's what they should call it, Scrappy. I'll give you that. But there are a lot of good speakers, and I was watching Roaming's speech, and she was giving a good speech. She was, from what she said on Twitter beforehand, she was a little bit nervous, which if you're not a public speaker, that can happen. But she's I think she was being a little facetious there. She's been growing her brand quite well and doing a few speaking events. So, but she gave a decent speech, and she was interacting with the audience. But you could definitely tell there wasn't a lot of people there. So
yeah,
there's no reason to lie about it, and there's no reason to really trash it other than for fun, which I have no problem with. But it doesn't mean it's going horrible.
Well, like I say, hopefully, at worst, this will be a growing pains moment, and when they try to kick it off again the next time, it'll go much more smoothly since they know what the pitfalls are.
Sure, and I think that a lot of the stuff that you see, because this is definitely not a ball pit event.
DashCon, yeah, it's not a DashCon.
It's not. I mean, they are set up in a nice the hotel that this is all surrounded with is a fucking beautiful resort. So they got that part of it right, and we'll see what happens next time.
Okay, that's all the drama that I knew about, relatively.
Cool. I want to get back to something you said a moment ago, if we're ready for deep topic. Oh, first, England DG, thank you so much. Happy birthday. First round is on me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. When you were talking about your video, yes. You said something to the effect that the speaker wanted mandatory computer.
You got super chat.
Thank you, Claxton Bayer. I don't know how to say that. Bear? Happy birthday, monkey. Here, have some dollary dues. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, that makes sense because he's Australian. Dollary dues. Yeah, so it was the one in the video. And again, it was edited in such a way that I don't know if things were left out. But in the video, It was the one long applause line in the audience for this is that Susan... How do you say it? Wojcicki? Is that how you say her name?
Wojcicki.
So Susan Wojcicki, they were talking about like education and how to get girls into tech, etc. And she said, we need to make computer science mandatory. And that was the applause line. Everybody went nuts for that. And in the video, I said something effective. I was like, hey, yeah, sure, introduce girls to tech. But if they don't become interested just because you want them to, don't blame the rest of society for freedom of choice, and it's just, but yeah, and by the way, making computer science mandatory will totally avoid groupthink. Jesus.
Well, here's the thing. With very rare exception, I've never heard of anybody, forced to do something who came out liking it.
Yeah.
I
outside of math, outside of the basics, like reading, writing, arithmetic, the real bare bones basics. I mean, we know nobody, well, maybe not nobody, but most people don't really like math. It's not the highest thing on your list of things to do. However, it is a necessary skill to sort of operate in the world. Now, I could see the argument of someone saying that a basic understanding of computer science these days would be a useful thing to have. Not gonna argue with that necessarily, but at the same time, computer science is still mostly a vocation. It is not a basic, like, you need this in order to survive in your daily world kind of stuff. So I don't think we're at that point yet.
I don't think we'll ever be at that point, because here's one of the things that's happened in our society. The more advanced it gets, the less we actually need to know about how things work. And that might seem like a weird thing to say, but my mother, when I was growing up, she had this idea. We were never allowed to use or calculators. Never allowed to use calculators.
Oh, sure. Yeah, right.
Because what if the calculators stop working?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand her point there, but look at where we are now. I don't even have to have a calculator. I can talk into Google and ask it to do the math for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, there might be a time when, everything breaks down, but here's the problem. If we get to that time, I'm sorry, I got a text from my wife, and I always read those. I apologize.
You got a text from your wife when she's in the chat room of the stream that you're on right now?
It's a way for her to get my attention.
I think she's got several ways to get your attention that don't involve texting, but maybe that's just me.
Well, she does. She could burst through the door like the Kool-Aid Man if she wanted to. And,
oh yeah.
Anyhow, if we ever get to a place in society where I can't go to my phone and go, what's 10 plus 20? I feel like we're going to have bigger problems than what you're going to learn in a computer science course in high school. And I've had this argument many times with liberal people, because I believe schools should be for the basics, especially primary school. By the time you graduate high school, I believe you should be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, yes, without a calculator. But I don't believe algebra is necessary. I don't believe geometry is necessary. And I think history should actually be history, and science should actually be science. And I don't think you need computers for all of that.
Oh, yeah.
I love you.
Perfect.
Anyhow. But when I've had these conversations with more liberal thinking folks, and the ones who think we need far more money for education so we can have all this high-tech computer shit, they always come back on the same thing. And it's always, well, what if something breaks down? We're going to need people who can do computers. And you're just not going to get that level of computer science in any kind of class that's mandatory, because that is going to be your high-level computer science. It's not going to be it's not going to be, teaching a computer in how to use Java to say hello world.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the what Lady Monkey wanted me to do is Sylvanus's son Angel had a birthday, and wanted to know if we would sing to Angel. Absolutely, I'd be happy to. I'm not going to do the creepy opening though, because this is to a child. So
that's probably appropriate.
We're gonna do it like this. Angel, are you out there? This one's for you. You ready, Scribe? And a 1, and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear angel. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Angel. I hope you had a good one.
I can't hit the high notes like I used to before puberty.
Hang on, I got a super chat here that rolled by while we were doing that. James Colley, Monkey, this is for Lady Monkey. That was too awesome. Do not encourage her bad behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, yeah, you can encourage her bad behavior. It makes me laugh. But anyway, yeah, the idea of mandatory computer science, the stuff that you're going to learn in such a class is not going to be fun for most people. And for the people it would be fun for, you're going to need the higher classes anyway.
Well, the fun part, in my experience, has always come from the teacher. I've had teachers take things that in any other circumstance would have been an absolute drag and make it interesting. I had an anthropology teacher in high school who made it interesting. He made it really fun. And he was also a history teacher. Like he would come in dressed up on specific days when he was teaching like times of periods of American history or something as a historical figure. Like he'd show up dressed up like Franklin Delano Roosevelt or something when he was talking about World War II and that kind of stuff. He'd just make it fun.
I think you can do that with some education, certainly. It's hard to do that with the notion that you need to end everything with a semicolon and going through your code to find that one goddamn line where you missed it.
Well, some people gravitate towards that and some people don't. That's why it should be an elective and not a mandatory. Yeah,
exactly. And the truth of the matter is women don't gravitate towards that. Most men don't gravitate towards that, for fuck's sake.
Right.
It is a very, it's much like, say, ancient history. There's a good reason to study ancient history. There's a good reason to figure out how we got to where we are. But not everybody wants to fucking know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate this idea of forcing computer science on people, because computer science should be fun. I'm a geek. I fucking the whole thing with going through code and trying to find that one spot where you forgot to end with a fucking semicolon. And let me tell you, I've spent hours looking for that one goddamn one I missed.
Well, the thing that annoys me more, and this is related to the video I did, and this is something I see all the time. And of course, we've seen this with things as ancient as the wage gap theory. You have a statistic that shows a disparity between one group to another. Doesn't really matter what it is. And you look at that and say, aha, therefore discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
Not therefore we don't know just based on statistics, because statistics don't tell you necessarily a cause. They just tell you what things are. You have to look deeper for a cause, and sometimes there's not one there you're going to like. And they always want to say, oh, well, if there's 30% of women in STEM rather than 50%, which would be utopia, obviously it's because we're not supporting girls in STEM, or the glass ceiling is still there, or discrimination, blah, 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 blah. So suddenly somebody's got to be the villain. We have to have a villain. It has to be that some people are doing bad things to, and again, it doesn't really matter what statistic you're talking about. Any group that is of a lesser number in something than another group is obviously being oppressed in some fashion. It couldn't be just choice. It couldn't be culture. It couldn't be anything else. No, it must be that someone's being held back, someone's being victimized. And therefore, anybody on the opposite side, anybody within the demographic that's in the larger slice of the pie, must be somehow collaborating as villains. I hate that kind of thinking. It's not even thinking. It's just sort of like reactionary. It's the simplest answer. It's sort of like religion. You don't have an answer for why there's lightning in the sky, so you make up something in the absence of having a real answer. God of the gaps. There you go. And that tendency in a lot of the videos that I watch and a lot of the presentations that I sit through is exceedingly annoying, especially from people who have the title doctor in front of their name or who have a master's degree or whatever. It boggles me.
I want to address something that Carrick said here. So there's a difference between a programmer and just knowing basic how-to computer. Just an introduction taste might give someone the idea that, hey, this might be interesting.
Sure.
And I understand that. I do. But I think the people who would gravitate towards that do so anyway. I am fascinated by how computers work, and I'm not even fascinated by the internal parts or even the deep programming. I do like to program though. I sat here and taught myself how to do C++ so I could make a computer world. Not everybody wants to do that. It's why when you come across a computer game that allows modding, you see so many really, really shit mods because people either don't know or don't want to take the time to learn. But you'll come across that one. Counter-Strike is an excellent example of a mod that somebody built around a game that already exists. Mm-hmm. That became a phenomenon. But there are a ton of mods that came out for Half-Life nobody's ever heard of and nobody's ever going to.
Did you see the did you see the video I shared today where the next installment of Beyond Skyrim is in process?
I didn't.
I'll
have to look.
Yeah, they're rebuilding all of Breton and all of Hammerfell for the Red Guard. I mean, these guys are nuts. They're like building like Skyrim is game X, and then you've got like what was the expansion for where you go back to Morrowind or whatever? I forget what it is, but anyway, you get those things. They've basically built 3 extra Skyrims so far of like map size and things to do and fully voiced NPCs and adventures and items and monsters and everything. It's crazy, and they're not getting paid for it. They can't be, but it's just nuts, and it is amazing. I watched a video where the guy was going to take a item. He was going to build an item for the new expansion, right? Mm-hmm. And so I watched him do this, and I was fascinated by it because I'd never seen anybody do this before. He took a piece of concept art out of some Skyrim's, or like the Art of Skyrim book or something, or the Art of Elder Scrolls, and he scanned it into his computer. He traced it out in a 3D program, and then used that to create a 3D item into a game item, into a sword you could quest for.
Oh, cool.
It was just, and you know, watching it, it just makes perfect sense as to why that would work and how that would work. But it's amazing.
Placenta Smoothie says, as soon as Scribe said Skyrim, my Skyrim crashed. Fuck you, Scribe.
That's my power. That was the dragon word I learned when I say Skyrim. It's like Dovahkiin.
Oh, James Colley says, I really liked Icewind Dale 1 and 2. I loved 2. 1 is okay, but 2 was my jam, dude. I actually have the enhanced version from Good Old Games because I fucking love that game. K-Rick was arguing with me, said not necessarily sometimes you have to be exposed to stuff to like it. That's why I said most people who are going to be interested. But I still don't think, especially with computer science, when I was in school, we had to do some light programming, and the majority of the class didn't care about it at all. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you can force that on people. Most people are not going to be interested in coding. It's boring as fuck. You have to be a certain kind of person. And I don't think that I don't think you can force people into it. That's all I had for deep topic, because I really didn't have one before you said that. And
we should talk about movies then.
We can definitely talk about movies. The only
So,
problem is that my questions for you about movies are what did you think of Tin Cup? We need to
yeah, well, that's not,
we need to
that's
get
going to
to
be for
tomorrow.
tomorrow. So,
I don't like to wait.
but what was I going to say? I was going to say something, and suddenly it slipped my brain because I think it was going to be something about comic book movies. You see the trailer
Tim
for the
Barry
new?
says, sorry, but coding is not boring. Bullshit. Yes, it is.
Well, see, Tim
And
might be one of those niche people who just finds it amazing.
this is coming from somebody who really likes coding. It is boring as fuck. Yes, it is. Now, the part of coding that's not boring is when you get something made, when you get something done, and then you're just like, I fucking did that. It's a great feeling. But yeah, the moments up to that, you're like, fuck this shit. I don't need to write. It's semicolons, man. They have made me fucking hate semicolons. Cryptic, thank you so much. Most kids I know are worse at technology than me. To be fair to them, I work in the tech industry. They're just mindless drones using the tech. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Let's use some real world examples. When radio became a big thing, there was not a push to get a whole bunch of people into making radios. When television became a big thing, there was not a push to get people to know how tubes worked. And that's the same basic thing. There's this idea that you have to. Oh, Captain Brambles, I'm so glad to see that. He said he watched UHF last night. And yeah, that was a fucking great movie. Slovenly American. Ever heard of Tale of Two Wastelands? I have not.
No.
But anyway, back to my point there. There's this idea that we have to get women into this, and it comes down to this, guys. Let's just be honest. Tech pays very well. It is a very clean job to sit and code.
Yep.
And anytime you hear about disparages between men and women in the workforce, it is always in these kind of positions. It's your CEOs, it's business executives, ad exec. It is always something that is a clean job in a nice office where people are making a buttload of money.
Way at the top.
It is never about a garbage man or a coal miner. I mean, the disparages between men and women in those industries is fucking amazing. I mean, it is outrageous if you're looking for equality, but nobody talks about them. So let's be fucking real. This is about women making money in a clean job where they don't have to, I was going to say break a nail, but
risk life, limb, or running their mascara.
There you go. Again, thank you, Cryptic. I get sent to shit plants monthly. Most of the women I work with are the face of the company and relationship jobs with clients. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. Believe it or not, it actually helps your company if you have a competent woman who's pretty that you can send to talk to clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, leverage the genetics, leverage the biology. Yeah. Don't run away from it or demonize it. Sometimes pragmatism sometimes isn't politically correct, but it does get the job done. So I don't know what to tell you.
Here's the thing you never hear about when they talk about women in tech. You never hear about them actually building the components ever. It's always, programming or something to do or CEOs, your Susan Wojcicki's. That's what we need more. I'm not saying we shouldn't try to get women into computers. I'm all for getting anybody into it who wants to, but don't fall for this shit that's what this is really about.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've known plenty in my real life and at work and otherwise, plenty of women who are technologically inclined and coding inclined, far beyond anything that I'm interested in. I'm not a coder, and I'm English major. I like the results of coding. I've had to learn sort of as the stowaway on the pirate ship kind of thing, just over the course of the years in my job. You have a super chat.
Thank you, Alice Morgan. Happy birthday, Monkey. Well, thank you very much. Please do Hackers as a movie you should have watched. I've never seen it. So that would be one that I would have to watch before I could even do it.
Hackers is it's a sentimental favorite, but even back then when I watched it, I could see its major weak points, even though it's a very flashy and sort of cult movie now. Probably based more on the soundtrack than anything else. Anyway, what was I going to say? Because I got off track. I guess it kind of goes back to the claim that they make in the video I did, where they said, the Google, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't quote it verbatim, but the Google memo, that man said that women are incapable of doing tech. And I was like, no. He didn't say incapable. He said less inclined. When they do it, when they focus on it, when they put their minds to it or want to, they can do it just as well, if not better than men, because it's not about gender when it comes to this. It's numbers, it's understanding patterns, it's understanding logic and that kind of stuff. It's got nothing to do with what's between your legs. But, to say that being less inclined equates to being dumb or being like incapable. No. And that's where this rift seems to keep pulling up when they bring up these statistics and everything. Only 30% of women in tech. Well, maybe that's because only 30% of women are interested in technology. Not that somehow 70% of women are being like chained to the floor somewhere to scrub them. I mean, give me a fucking break. So that's what really frustrates me.
Let's go ahead and open this up to chat because I've been addressing what they're saying anyway, and there's one that I do want to address here. Furry Kitten said, "Whoa! I have met many very, very extremely talented extremely talented engineers and techs." And scroll down, and many are female. And many may be female, but is it 50%? I'm betting not. And I'm betting not because that's what the statistics show us.
Yeah. And I'm not. And I want to clarify just in case it's otherwise. I wouldn't care if 20% more women got involved in technology.
No,
I mean, my saying that 30% of women are in tech because only 30% of women are interested in tech. At present, I mean, 20 years from now, depending on how things roll, maybe there will be more women interested in technology or able to take a career that takes them as far as they possibly can go. And, but ultimately, if patterns hold true, women on average at a certain point choose between family and career. Either they're going to take a very time-consuming, stressful career path, or they're going to focus on their family and have to find a balance between the two. And finding a balance oftentimes means not advancing as far as you could go if you didn't focus on a family. So, and the ultimate statistic of the women slowing down or stopping their career paths in order to focus on a family isn't an indictment of men or anything else against keeping women down. They're making a choice. And who's picking up the slack for women choosing to focus on a family rather than a career? Usually their partner, their husband. They're off making the money and doing all the work to make up for the fact that, you've got someone at home taking care of the kids. May sound 50s, may sound, anachronistic, but that's reality.
Well, the reality also shows us that women in tech has been dropping, and it's been dropping since the 80s. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions on why. And here's the truth about tech. It changes constantly. And if you do have to leave to have a child or for whatever, we also know that most women put the job second or third or fourth on their list of priorities. And that's not a bad thing, guys.
No,
it's not. But when you do that, when you put your family above your job, and frankly, you should put at least somebody in the family needs to put the family above the job. And you're working in an industry that changes as fast as tech. take a look at what we had in the 80s and what we have now. It is fucking amazing how different things are.
It's a quantum leap. I mean, there's probably several people in chat who can't remember the 80s or a time before the internet or things like that. But, and it might sound academic, but trust from at least a couple of guys who have straddled both sides of the internet revolution. It is a completely different world today. And I mean, and that's not an exaggeration. The fact that the fact that you are hearing my voice right now, as you look at a screen on a video streaming service that I just turned on a machine on my desk and just kind of can make happen at the click of a button, absolute science fiction 30 years ago. Absolutely. I mean, the very concept of what we're doing right now was just a glimmer in one part of Ender's Game, an Orson Scott Card novel from like the 80s. There's a whole subplot in there where Ender's sister and him are exchanging like these long academic sort of rantings on an interconnected web of computers kind of stuff. They're basically talking about blog posts back in the 80s, and that seemed out of this world to me at the time. It's nothing compared to what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, we tweeted each other by writing it on a piece of paper, folding it up, and passing it through class. Yeah. I mean, and now you can fucking pick up your phone and record your face and send it to somebody.
You can send somebody a dick pic while you're sitting there in math class now. It's like it's just
so
anyway.
There are a lot of reasons there's not as many women in tech as there are men, and it is not all that we're just being mean to women. In fact, that is if that is even part of it, it is a minor, little, tiny part.
Yeah.
But this also goes on to something else that really bothers me, is the idea that we need to force women into tech. Because isn't feminism about women getting to choose?
You would think, if you were like paying attention to the purported definition of the whole movement to begin with.
Yeah.
Anyway, chat time.
Shiogarath, that's one of my favorite jokes. A dyslexic man walks into a bra. My other favorite dyslexic one is dyslexic of the world untie. What else do we got here? Sorry guys, I know I said it was open up to chat, but I was on a roll there. What do we got here? Again, guys, thank you so much for all the birthday wishes. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Which, by the way, my birthday is now 5 hours and 5 minutes away. My actual birthday time.
The final countdown.
What's the worst toy you've ever gotten? There's a joke that goes with that. But the worst toy you've ever gotten. When I was young, I desperately wanted a microscope because it seemed so cool, and that was boring as fuck. That was a horrible toy.
The worst toy I've ever gotten. God, I don't know. The worst toy. I always found something to do with them, even if I remember taking apart. I was given this Captain America action figure at one point, and it was basically just a shaped piece of plastic, painted with Captain America. But if you painted over it, you basically had a generic body shape. So I made my own toys for characters they'd never make toys for. Like I made my own Red Skull action figure way before they ever did a Red Skull action figure, because they would never sort of make a Nazi action figures, anything like that at that time. So I took this generic body and I repainted it and put some clothes on him and put like red clay on his face and made him into a Red Skull.
Oh God, we got a couple of good ones that are going to require long answers. So I'm trying to remember who writes them. The first one is from Jim Heelis, who says, "Do you think the latest trend in movie trailers are showing too much before the release?" I'll let you answer first.
The latest trend that's been going on forever. I forget what it was. I saw the entire movie watching the trailer the other day. I'd have to think back to which one it was, but it was called Upgrade, I think. And so the premise of the thing is this guy loses the ability to walk, and so it's kind of this cyberpunk-ish kind of movie where he gets a computer implanted in his spine that basically sends all the signals to his body for him so he can move around. But the side effect of that is he can turn over full control of his body to this computer that can then do actions and things with computer accuracy. And so he turns into like this sort of cybernetic robo kung fu master guy. Mm-hmm. And in the preview, they show an enemy he's going to have to go up against, which is a guy that has a shotgun built into his arm, which is really cool looking. But then they show our hero killing the shotgun guy in the trailer. And so I'm like, so wait, when we see this guy introduced in the movie, obviously we already know he's going to die, but we already know how he's going to die and the location, etc. You just gave away half the movie. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. You know what one of the best trailers I ever saw was?
What's that?
Best trailer I ever saw that got me so interested and so curious. It was the very first teaser trailer, whatever, for The Fifth Element. And it was this star field, and you saw this sort of like big, like spaceship looking thing moving out into the distance of space. And as it got further away from the camera, it was a giant 5, right? And then these big like white letters coming out of like a blinding light said, "It must be found, the fifth element." And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I want to know. You know, it's like, I don't know what it's about, but that for some reason that really caught me. And I was talking about Strange Days earlier is one of the movies that I want to get you to watch. The teaser for that was just Ralph Fiennes in front of the camera, looking at the audience and basically giving them his sales pitch for the thing in the movie that sort of drives the plot. It's not a clip from the movie. It's like him in front of a white background, sort of talking to the audience like he's doing an advertisement. And it was great. It was inventive. It didn't give anything away about the movie so much, except for kind of the premise and let you introduce you to a character, sort of. But yeah, the trailers these days, they give you a chapter and verse, everything that's going to fucking happen most of the time. It's annoying.
Have you ever watched the trailer for the original Star Wars?
I think I may have at some point, yeah.
It's like 2.5 minutes long.
Sure.
And it basically gives away 90% of the movie.
Oh,
I have no problem with a movie or a trailer giving away. They could give away everything, actually, because I'm not one of those people who needs to be surprised by movies. That's what you can ask Scribe. Any movie he's seen that I haven't, and we talked before the stream about it, like the last Jedi. I knew everything that happened because he told me about it because I asked him to.
Yeah,
and then I watched it myself.
Well, I care. I like being surprised. I like finding things out. I don't like spoilers. That's why I avoid them as much as possible before a movie comes out.
See, to me, it doesn't matter. What does bug me is when we get a trailer that shows all of the good parts of a movie.
Yeah.
When you have a 30-second trailer and you can show all of the good parts of your movie, you should throw the movie in the trash.
You know what's interesting about that? And I'll just give this away for tomorrow. Even though I'd never seen Tin Cup, every single beat that they put in the trailer back then when it first came out, I remembered as I reached them in the movie. I was like, oh, that was in the trailer. Oh, that was in the trailer. It's really sad that my memory retains those things. Now, the one thing I will say, though, the thing I hate even more than a trailer that gives away the entire movie is a trailer that completely mischaracterizes the movie you're going to see.
Yes.
Now, my favorite example, and I recommend anybody listening to go look this up. There's a movie with Colin Farrell and Terrence Howard called Dead Man Down. Okay, now the trailer for Dead Man Down is fucking badass. I mean, I watched that trailer. I was like, oh shit, that looks so cool. It was very noir. It's got this crime thing to it. The music they chose for it was just perfect. The whole thing looks awesome, right? And it kind of gives you a hint as to what the plot's going to be. Until you watch the movie. And it's nothing like what the trailer said, and it's a piece of shit. So if you want to see a great movie, go watch the trailer for Dead Man Down, but never watch the film.
Okay, Chaos Eve asks, how come there's no push for equal representation in sanitation?
Yeah. It's dirty jobs.
Yeah, the women want the it's all about the fun, high paying, clean jobs. What movie series needs a reboot? Ooh, series? I don't know.
Movie series? Yeah, I think we got asked that the other day. The only time a movie should be rebooted is either if the original concept was really good but executed poorly, or if it was a really good movie that is just showing its age or something to the point that it could be reused again in some fashion. That's about it, because like they want to reboot Scarface. Okay, now if you watch Scarface with Al Pacino, the fashion, the times, it is the 80s. It's totally the 80s, right? But that's just when the movie took place. That doesn't make the movie dated. That doesn't make the characters any less impactful or the events any less cool to watch or anything else. It doesn't make the movie bad. It just makes it, you know, a product of its time. You don't need to reboot something like that.
Frankly, rebooting something like that ruins the movie itself because, as we said, technology has changed. And there's so many movies from the 80s, 90s, where if people had cell phones,
yes,
most of the movie wouldn't matter anymore.
Yeah. And most times you'll see, like, I remember watching when they remade I Spit on Your Grave. Okay. Now, that's one of those movies that if there had been a cell phone, the whole thing would be diffused in about 5 seconds. And so what did they do when they updated I Spit on Your Grave to modern times with cell phones? Within the first 10 minutes, and I'm not kidding, she accidentally drops her cell phone in the toilet. I mean, it was the most ham-fisted, we have to get rid of the cell phone somehow line item in the script. I started laughing. I was like, of course. It couldn't be that you don't have any reception out in the woods. That would be simple. No, you have to like drop it in the toilet so it can't even work. Okay, good job, guys.
Okay, I had to scroll way back up for that question, so I'm scrolling through to see if I've missed anything else.
Okay.
I'm trying, guys. You guys have actually you guys are talkative tonight. Oh,
Harvos Marvo says, where does the last Starfighter reboot land? I don't think it's necessary.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, you didn't know about this? Monkey. Think of any movie you love from your childhood. Someone is trying to reboot it right now. Okay, if it hasn't already been done, it's being attempted.
I'm sure if I watched that today, the effects would look horribly dated. But that is a movie I used to watch with my dad. Me and him used to, anytime it came on, we were there to watch it. And it's because it was a good movie, how it is. Fucking leave my childhood alone.
I just watched a couple of years ago, honestly. A friend of mine got it on like Blu-ray or something, and I watched it with him. And yeah, the computer effects and everything are obviously dated, but it works for the movie because that's what it was made for. And sure, I mean, seeing Will Wheaton as a 5-year-old running around as an extra in a movie is kind of disturbing. But other than that, it's still the same movie I remember. It's still got the same humor. And yeah, okay, the effects aren't great. Who gives a shit? It's cheese. It's a Star Wars ripoff. There you go.
Thank you, Prospero. Hippo birthday to you. Thank you so much. God, I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to find questions here.
What was the question? Even if you can't remember who it was.
I don't know. I'm just seeing my name light up and then that there's question marks. So, the two that I had read that I was like, oh, I got to answer these. We already did. Mash asks if we knew that Weibo's new nickname is Fidget Midget. I did not.
I could believe it. Mr. Baker says, what do you think? Oh, sorry.
This Placenta Smoothie says, what advice would you give to people who want to learn code but don't know where to start? If you can take a college class on it, I would start there. If not, go to your local bookstore and find any beginner book. They're almost all the same. I've read so many of them. They're almost all the same. You're going to want to, it depends on how good you want to get at coding. If you want to do something like code a computer game, you're going to want to start with C++, just jump right in. If you don't want to get that advanced, you could go Java's still fairly useful. For me, I would just jump straight into C++. Just look for a beginner's book on C++. What was the question?
Mr. Baker says, "What do you think of Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear remake?" I like Cape Fear remake. That's one I should have mentioned the other day when we talked about like what's a good remake. I mean, you can do that with really old movies, like ones that aren't like I mean, you can't do it with Gone with the Wind or The Wizard of Oz, or something that's just sort of like an American icon kind of thing. But like Body Heat with John, was it John Hurt? I think it was. No, wait, not John Hurt. Anyway, Kathleen Turner Body Heat was sort of a remake of Double Indemnity. I mean, you can take the old noir flicks and you can, I mean, hell, Scarface was a remake of an old black and white movie. If you take something that's really old and genre-ish and you can sort of update it for modern times kind of thing without too much heavy lifting, where you're just taking the characters and the situation, putting them in a different place, as long as, like, you said, the technology doesn't completely blow away the plot line, sure. I mean, I like that one, but like remakes are William Hurt. Sorry, Prospero. William Hurt. I always say, whenever I think of William Hurt, I say John Hurt for some reason. I don't know why I do that, but
anyway. Oh, Monk, you're an asshole. The Last Starfighter writer is the same as Rogue One writer. Happy fucking birthday. God damn it.
Okay, well, hold on. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean bad, because Rogue One suffered from a wonderful world of dozens and dozens of reshoots and restructuring after the fact. The original, what was originally written, we'll never really know because they change it so much in post, basically. So,
Scribe.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Scribe. Yes. Stop it.
I'm trying.
Check your logic. Ask Ranting Monkey, how are you celebrating your birthday? We had all the kids home, including my son from college. And everybody just hung out and had a good time. We had dinner. Then we opened presents and had cake, because I only eat German chocolate cake once a year because it's my favorite and I don't want to ruin it for me. So I had a big ass slice of German chocolate cake.
Yeah, Jim.
What else do we got here?
Beth Castleman says they're doing a remake of Masters of the Universe. They've been trying to do a He-Man movie now for several years. I've seen some concept art that made Battle Cat look like fucking badass. I don't have hope that the end result will actually come out good, because Hollywood. But
they need to get the people who made that commercial.
And yeah, made the guys look like giant action figures. Yeah.
They did. That was such a great commercial. I would watch them in a movie.
Matt Mashisu says, someone do a decent version of the Fantastic Four. Mash, there's a rumor going about that the fact that the Fantastic Four comic book is being reintroduced in Marvel is a hint that somehow Marvel secretly got the rights back for Fantastic Four from Fox, and in some fashion they will be teased and or featured in Infinity War. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true. I haven't seen any hard evidence, but there's a lot of talk that things are aligning to say that Marvel may have the licenses back to the full Fantastic Four suite of characters. So fingers are crossed.
Check your logic. Ask what? You already celebrated your birthday? Yes. My sons couldn't be here tomorrow, so we did it today. Let's see. Yeah, my children are getting old and they have other obligations. What presents did you get, old man? I got my usual giant bag of peanut M&Ms, which I'm going to have. I'll probably still have those at my next birthday, because I've been trying not to eat sweets because of the whole diabetes thing. I got my Legos. I got some Spider-Man action figures. Again, those are mostly just for a little bit to steal. What else did I get? Shit, I don't remember. The one thing I do remember is I got quite a bit of gift card money for Steam. With the summer sale coming up, that's going to come in handy. Plus, it's what I asked for. So, again, thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes. Did you have fun on your birthday? I did. I got to play with Little Butt, and she's 3 now. Despite the argument we had the other day about her being 2, and she's just grown so much in like the last 6 months. To the point she's been talking pretty well for a while, but I mean, she has like full conversation. She looked at her mom today. We were outside. She looks at her. She goes, "I have to tell you a story about you."
Mm-hmm.
And she looks her mom dead in the face, and she goes, "What you say about your parents isn't right." I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And she just repeated it, and like, all right. Diesel Dave, thank you so much. I was so pissed when I found out the new Crocodile Dundee movie was just a commercial. Oh, I didn't know they even had that.
Oh, it was hilarious. They did a whole it was just for a movie called Dundee, and they got all these stars and everybody to make it look like it was like Crocodile Dundee's son was coming back to Australia to meet his dad and all this other crazy stuff. But it was just an ad for the Australian tourism board. But it was just hidden as a trailer for Dundee. It was great.
Real quick, Lady Monkey reminded me, I got the Mel Brooks DVD set, which has, among other things, Young Frankenstein, what's on there, Blazing Saddles, which I already had, but that's okay. The History of the World Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like 10 or 12 movies in it. And I also got the DVD set that has Return of Jafar and the Prince of Thieves, or the King of Thieves, which are the Aladdin sequels, which I fucking love and had been looking for. I've introduced Little Butt to Aladdin, and I want to introduce her to the whole series because, in my opinion, it is the only time Disney has done more than one sequel, and all of it was good. Excuse me, Jenna P. I made a great joke about giving you some of my SSI check. Also, what you and Scribe have done for me. Excuse me, I am so sorry.
Wow.
You have impacted my life for the good. I also feel we are going through pain, figuring out the norm. Yeah, Jenna, I agree. You and me still having that cripple off, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched Stir Crazy and Silver Streak the other day. Silver Streak only just held up. Stir Crazy was almost painful, says Furry Kitten. I was never a big fan of either of those movies.
Yeah.
I love both Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, but yeah, I
like,
never really.
Hear No Evil, See No Evil, or See No Evil.
Yeah, that one wasn't bad.
I like that one. Okay. And Lady in Red. I always like Lady in Red with Gene Wilder. That was pretty good. But my favorite Gene Wilder performance outside of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, sorry, was when he played the fox in the Little Prince movie. He was it's a very eerie performance, especially when I was a little kid watching it. It creeped me out, but it stuck with me my entire life, and it's great.
I am a big fan of The Toy.
Oh, The Toy, yeah.
That was a great
movie. Which would never be made today. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Just hires a Negro to play with this kid. Anyhow. Another great movie from back then that I don't think would be made, at least the way it was made, was oh shit, it escapes me. It was Denzel's first real big movie where he goes and finds his dad, and his dad turns out to be white. What the fuck is the name of that?
No, I thought I was about to say, I was going to say Ricochet. Ricochet was great.
No. Somebody in chat, you've got to know what I'm talking about. Help me out here. I just had it. Point sounds like he's going through a lot of shit, and I'm sorry to hear that, Point.
You know what movie I always wanted to see remade?
What's that?
Or at least this is the concept. I always wanted them to take
Carbon Copy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah, that's the name of it.
You ever see or hear about the movie Blank Check, this stupid Disney kid movie?
Yes.
Okay. All I want him to do, just for fun, is take the script from Blank Check, change nothing in it, but turn the kid into Zach Galifianakis and just give all the actors get all like serious actors playing all the roles and just remake the movie. I don't know why. I always thought that would be hilarious if they just took a kid movie and didn't do anything different about the script, but just change the actors around and see what would happen.
Somebody, Furry Kitten says reboot Soul Man. Somebody asked the other night in,
Oh
it
God,
might have been last night, if we would do Soul Man for movies you should have watched. While it is more of a comedy, it is one I wouldn't mind doing. I just don't know if I could find it right now.
God, Soul Man. I don't know that I'd be that interested in doing it. Like, I know of the movie. It was never ever a part of my sort of cinematic lexicon growing up. So,
Oh, I loved it. It was great.
I mean, you'd be better off doing like Date with an Angel or something, because at least I saw that movie.
Shiograth says, would you ever bungee jump?
Ooh.
Couldn't hurt your spine worse. Actually, it could.
Oh yeah,
it could jolt the fuck out of my neck, but no, I wouldn't bungee jump because I am afraid of heights. I would jump out of a plane, or at least I would have when I was younger. There's a weird thing that happens to you when you start having children. A lot of the stupid shit you would have done when you were younger, you're like, I ain't gonna do that shit.
Right.
Fuck that. And that's where I am on a lot of stuff. But bungee jumping was never one of my things. Although Faces of Death, when the guy bungee jumped, is one of my favorite things ever. Because
Faces of Death.
They measured the building and got a bungee rope the exact length of the building. Yeah. So the guy never even bounced. He just
good job.
Splat. Well, yeah. They were all drunk on the roof, and somebody got the idea to do it, and yeah.
Oh, I had a really random question for you, Monkey, that's not related to anything. A friend of mine recently had a guy was in a car accident, and as part of their therapy, their physical therapy, there was this treatment where you get like put in this bodysuit and sort of suction sealed up, and it's supposed to like work out your muscles or something, or deal with pain. Have you ever heard of this?
I have not.
Yeah, so I don't quite understand it, but you get like wrapped in this bodysuit. They essentially suck the air out and sort of like constricts your body, and then they massage you through that. And it's supposed to like loosen up your meniscus and all this other stuff in order to relieve pain. I was just curious because I had never heard of it before. I thought maybe with your experience and everything, it might have been something you'd heard of.
No, most of the stuff, what's the word I'm looking for here? More experimental kind of stuff that I've heard about is like the what are they called? It's where they actually put a little box near your neck and it injects stuff right into it.
Oh,
I forget what that's called. The problem is with all of that is it would have to be something on the other side of the damage to my spinal cord.
Okay.
Because everything that comes through, a massage feels good and horrible at the same time to me. Because the part of me that can feel the muscles being rubbed feels great. The skin being touched feels like somebody's trying to rip off the muscle. Yeah. See you, Shiograth. And again, thank you guys so much for all the birthday wishes. You guys are amazing. We got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left for you guys to tell me how happy you are I was born. Would you ever smash Blair White? Blair has a dick. I love Blair, but no.
No.
I don't do the penis thing.
Yeah.
Ever try gravity boots? No.
Yeah.
Get stretched like Gene Wilder and stir crazy. I have had what's that called? Traction before when I first hurt my neck, and it didn't do much for me.
Oh, vacuum assisted closure therapy. Maybe.
Oh, there you go.
No, wait. Or is that post? I can't. I don't know. I'm going to get some more information from my friend, because the way she described it, it's like it is something that's not sort of like covered by insurance. It's kind of a specialty thing, but she says it works great for her. And so I wasn't sure if it was something that you'd heard about. So I'll find out more. What about smashing Jenna marbles, says Sarah Plyer? From what I remember, I haven't. It's like one of those people, like, I know she's famous and she's got zillions of YouTube followers. I've never paid attention to her. I assume she's not horrible looking, if I remember correctly.
Oh, thank you. Nothing for you here. If not for you, I wouldn't have anyone to laugh at. Happy birthday. I appreciate that.
What? Just look in a mirror. Oh, whoops.
I I'm happy to be the one to make people laugh,
There you
whether
go.
it's at me or with me.
You're the court jester.
I am.
People remember Jenna Marbles. Yeah, I check your logic. I know the name. I can vaguely remember an image, but
who is she? Why do I know the name?
She's a YouTube celebrity. Like she's got zillions of followers. She's probably like millions and millions, and she was I don't know, one of those girls that just ends up because she looks hot and has bubbly personality or something, gets a bunch of followers and never has to work again, kind of thing. I don't know.
Jenna says, Monkey, I strongly believe in trying new things. What's already invented was because someone was willing to trial run it. And I'm not opposed to that. The problem is so much of these things are designed to treat pain that is coming from the body. And most of my pain is coming because of the signal. So there's not a lot that... have you looked into stem cells treatment? I have. But with that, guy, and thank you for the donation there, Diesel Dave. With that, guys, we are going to wrap up this birthday stream. Thank you guys so much for all of the birthday wishes. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you guys showed up and cared enough to say something. And thank you for the super chats and for your MSS news stories and for engaging us at the end here. Without you, it would just be me and Scribe talking about movies. Scribbles, thank you so much. It's a pleasure as always. Everyone, your life makes me sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.